Hello, this is Mr. Hornby 83. Welcome to the Mr. Hornby 83 show. And today, I made a decision. I decided instead of reviewing, part 1 and part 2 of the Rob Zombie films, I'll save part 2 of the Rob Zombie film for next week. Same with the original Halloween part 1 and 2. I will do those next week. I will do part 2 of both of the ones I'm doing this week. Next week. So, let's start with the first Rob Zombie Halloween movie, which I hear a lot of people say they like this one, but they don't care too much for the second one. And actually, to be quite honest with you, between the two Rob Zombie ones, I kind of like the second one a little bit better than this first one. I mean, yeah, this one gives a lot of backstory, and, it shows the beginnings of Michael Myers and how psychotic he was prior to, killing his sister. So honestly, put this up a little bit so you can see a little bit better. But honestly, I think I got myself a little bit too, happy with this one, because I did not care for Resurrection. I didn't care too much for H2O either, but as you see, it starts out with, the Halloween title card, and pretty much it shows Michael Myers in a situation where, he was in a broken home. His stepfather was a piece of trash, sexually harassed his sister, was mistreating his mom, and he kind of acts pretty weird toward his mom throughout both of these movies. Now, originally when Rob Zombie did these movies, he said he just wanted to, improve on things that the first one could have did better. But with what he had planned and what was executed on the screen were two totally different things. Now, I gotta say, unlike in the original first one, Michael Myers' first victim was not his sister. In fact, his first victim was a pet guinea pig. Then his second victim ended up being the school bully, which he takes out. Then the third was his worthless stepfather. Then the fourth was his sister's boyfriend. Then finally, about fifth. But if you're not going to count the animal, his sister was the fourth person he killed in this movie. It wasn't like the first one where it's like, One thing I gotta say though, with the choice they made with the song for this, let's go back to this. Well, we can get to it. Fudge. Scenes, okay. One of the strange things, it's a song they used for this, because you see his sister wouldn't take him out because her boyfriend was coming over and she was wanting to get, get it on with her boyfriend. So Michael don't get to go trick-or-treating. He's sitting there crying, eating some candy corn. And then he, and then it's like they're playing a Love Hurts song, and it shows Michael sitting on the curb crying because he didn't get to go, because his sister wasn't taking trick-or-treating. And then it shows his mom dancing because his mom's a stripper in this movie, and pretty much she's also played by the wife of Rob Zombie, which was the character Living Dead Girl in his Living Dead Girl song. But, played by his wife in this movie, and he sure does do a lot of movies where he shows his wife, as one of the feature characters. I think his Devil's Rejects, his wife was one of the feature characters. And he always tries to find a way to get his wife naked in the thing. And yeah, somebody brought up, yeah, you know, we get it, you got a hot wife. But, yeah, I mean, a lot of the decisions they made, you do get the Michael Myers mask pretty early in the movie. I mean, he's wearing it as a kid instead of a little clown costume thing. And that's one of the things I hear people complain about with this movie is, oh, you know, one, we don't need an origin stories on why Michael Myers does what he does. We just, you know, he should just do it. And the strange thing, too, is Michael, this time they do introduce Laurie's character, which she's called Angel Myers. Which you find out in part 2, her name's Angel. But they were calling her Boo or Blue or something like that in this movie. And, you know, Michael Myers really, I guess, cared about her or had a weird obsession with her because he didn't harm her. He killed everybody else. Stepdad, the other sister. He killed everybody else except for the mom and the younger sister, which grows up to be Laurie, which is weird. But we do see a lot of things going on. You know, Loomis is introduced pretty early in this movie. And they're showing, unlike with the originals, they actually show Loomis trying to, you know, give therapy to Michael. But Michael, you know, was talking to him at first, but then all of a sudden Michael just stops talking, goes mute. Won't talk to Loomis, won't talk to his mom, won't talk to nobody. And so we do see Loomis in this one treating Michael, as in the original ones you don't see Loomis treating Michael. And when it gets to the point to where, you know, Loomis is like, hey, I wanna, you know, they're not gonna let me treat you no more because you're not talking and and Loomis feels upset because this is like the director's cut. Now, apparently that's the cut that's been put out on, that's easier to find than the other cut. Which is weird because I remember, I think I had the original copies of the movies when they first came out, of the regular version. Not the, you know, producer's cut. Now this was, I believe, the second Halloween movie I've seen in theaters. I also seen Rob Zombie's Halloween 2 in theaters. And then I saw the most recent Halloween in theaters, which I did a review on somewhat of a little bit of a review at the end of my Nightmare on Elm Street Part 3 and 4 review, where I talked about how I felt like this movie just, you know, that movie was not what it was supposed to be. It was just, you know, it was honestly, I'm not going to say it was worse than, it wasn't a bad movie, and it wasn't a really bad movie, by no means, but it came close to being that. But there were some things in the movie that were pretty good that I enjoyed, but in the end I was very disappointed with the movie. And it wasn't as good as some of the other sequels, such as the original Part 2, the Part 4, and then Part 3, because if I did a top 10 list, I'd probably have Part 1 at, you know, number 1, Part 4 at number 2, Part 3, no. I'd have Part 1 at number 1, Part 2, you know, 4 at number 2, Part 2, the original Part 2, at number 3, and then at number 4, I'd probably have, like, Part 3, Season of the Witch. But, you know, anyway. Let's get back to this movie. Now, there's some points that I will say, there are some things in this producer's cut that make more sense than the original theatrical cut, but then there's some things that don't make no sense. Like, first of all, like this scene here, which you can't really see because of the red. But the scene where Loomis is talking about the evil in the eyes of Michael Myers, they showed that he was really upset that he couldn't get through to Michael and help Michael and really, you know, do what he's done for other patients. And he felt like he really let Michael down and everything. This scene here, the rape scene, does not make no sense. I've heard about the infamous rape scene. I have not watched, honestly, I have not watched this producer's cut at all. I might watch it to see what I think about it personally. I'm just going on the theatrical version, because like I said, I haven't seen this version. I might just actually watch this right after I'm done doing this review, but I can't give my full thoughts on the producer's cut. I can only give my thoughts on the theatrical cut, and because I did see the theatrical cut in theaters, and I believe when I originally bought Rob Zombie's Halloween 1 and 2, I believe I had the theatrical cut, but now, apparently that's the one that's hard to find. That was a good. Joe Grizzly, Michael Myers, it's pretty much the same as the first one. Now, yeah, the first half it's a lot different than the first one. Different backstory, different victim, different kill count than the first one. And then the rest of the movie's pretty much after this one right here, after this scene here, everything else is pretty much the same as the original first one. One thing is, it's not executed as well as the original first one, and the characters are kind of annoying. A lot of the characters in this movie are pretty annoying. Apparently it was Sheriff Brackett who found Laurie and took her to the hospital after Michael's mom killed herself. Because, there was a point where Michael kills a nurse unprovoked, and he pretty much killed her. But now, apparently in this producer's cut, I've seen a couple of people talk about this version. Apparently in the producer's cut, the nurse kind of, provoked him into stabbing her because he showed a picture, I guess, of Boo, which is Laurie, aka Angel. And she's like, it's hard to tell she's related to you, and then after that, Michael kills her. So, she was still a baby, and then she got adopted by the Strodes, and she didn't realize that she wasn't really a member of the Strodes. But, Michael knew who she was. He even tried to show her the picture. I don't think he was going to kill her. I think he just wanted to show her, like, hey, you're my sister. You should be on my side or something like that. I don't know. Pretty much, the theatrical version, I think, was a pretty decent movie. But all the added stuff I've heard from in this, really, a lot of it didn't make sense. And then some of it was just like, stuff to pad on the runtime, which was dumb. Even the line from the original is in this. I mean, it's pretty much the same movie as the original first one, except for the original first one was way better than what this one is. And, I feel like, yeah, this one, I don't think is really that bad. But, as far as a fan of the series, I don't think it's really that bad. I mean, especially when you're coming off of, these came right after Resurrection. And you want to get that bad taste out of your mouth. I think this did that a little bit. Got a little bit of bad taste. But then it added a little bit more of a bad taste in your mouth for the Halloween franchise. Not as bad. Well, I'm not going to say not as bad. But almost like this new one that just came out in theaters on the 19th. That put a little bit more of a bad taste in my mouth as well as these ones. But, anything beats Busta Rhymes Kung Fu. And Michael Myers being told off by a freaking stupid, whatever it was, camera show, reality show host or whatever, blah, blah, blah. Whatever it was, that's how bad I don't like that movie, because I don't even know the whole storyline of it. Last time I watched it was in a commentary on Facebook Live, which I just, I had to hold myself back from puking every time I watched that. But, yeah. But overall, this movie, I gotta give it 2.5. Not 2.5. I gotta give it 2 out of 5. I mean, I like it personally, but as a movie, especially a Halloween movie, it's not that great. So 2 out of 5 for this movie. I think it would have been better had they, totally went a totally different route. Like, instead of, which they kind of tried to rectify in the second one, with the Laurie. Instead of Laurie being against Michael, they could have had Laurie and Michael team up. Like, she goes so crazy and cuckoo, and she realizes, oh, wait a minute, he's my brother? He wasn't trying to kill me in the last one? And, maybe I should be more with him. He's the only family I got left. I mean, even if it wasn't, like, she'd be like, well, he's the only real family I got left. Everybody's pretty much betrayed me. Why don't I just, do whatever. But, anyway, yeah, that's Halloween remake. I don't think it's as bad as everybody says. It's not Season of the Witch either, so, it's not underrated like Season of the Witch. But, I'd say it's good enough to be a 2 out of 5. I mean, yeah, he did improve a couple of things better than what the original did, but, pretty much the same movie, except for, Rob Zombie's take on it, where, we got trailer trash family, using the F word every 5 seconds, etc., etc., etc. But, yeah, 2 out of 5 for this one. I will review Halloween the original first one tomorrow on YouTube. I'll probably wait till later in the evening to do that one. The reason why it took me later in the day today is because I was catching up on some shows I missed last night, so. And tomorrow I'll do some shout outs and, get prepped for the video for Friday. I'm finally going to get to the Halloween movies. I think the last commentary I did was Halloween 3, Season of the Witch, yeah. That was the last commentary I did. And I made pretty much the same jokes I made in the review I made of that movie. But, yeah, 2 out of 5 out of this movie, and that's pretty much it. I'll catch you guys later, and peace out.